Good evening and welcome to Diamond Live. Thank you for joining us on the show tonight, Tuesday, the 18th of January 2022. We're back to give you updates on what's been making news throughout the day. My name is Dingindaba Jonah Buyoya.
My name is Cheswa Kapasa. Well, a lot of controversy continues to happen, Jonah, in as far as fighting corruption concerned, but also one of the important things we are going to talk about today is waste management. One of the things that I found bizarre is Kamwala Ward Councillor Simata Mainda, who earlier today went to dump garbage at the Lusaka City Council because he feels that the Lusaka City Council have not been doing their job, after him sending numerous instructions to the LCC to collect garbage in his ward. But we'll find out what that all is about tonight.
That's one of the things that's been trending today. It's been all over the internet. I first saw it on Twitter because I was tagged in that tweet. I couldn't do much about the tweet because it had some cuss words in it, and I couldn't retweet it or anything because of my work. But very interesting choice of words. But I think what went on to be the narrative was that the councillor, Mainda Simata, actually went with the garbage and left it at the LCC office here because he wanted to send a message. Apparently, he's been talking to the directors who are in air-conditioned offices. We'll talk about that as well on the show tonight because he'll be joining us as we just quickly review that aspect of today. But I think the bigger picture of it is really the fact that Lusaka is filthy, especially the central business district. There's some parts of the central business district where people dump garbage along Freedom Way, literally in the presence of everybody else. They do it systematically. It's part of the system. They are dumping garbage. And it doesn't need you to live in the central business district to see how filthy it is. I mean, I don't like going there because of the filth. And it's a perpetual problem. But that's not where it ends. Across Lusaka City, irresponsible citizens always littering. The Lusaka City Council not doing much also with regards to garbage collection. There's this house near where I live, because obviously there's the whole garbage collection. So this house has got this high wall fence, right? And every 2 days along that place, when you're driving around that wall fence, you will find some unscrupulous people will dump garbage just outside the wall fence, the corner of the wall fence. Because it's such a wide wall fence, you would take a little bit of time for you to notice. The people always damage it. And these are irresponsible people I'm talking about. So we will get into that. In fact, let's get into it now. We'll talk to Mainda Simata, who is a UPND Kamwala Ward Councillor. Thank you so much, Mr. Simata, for joining us on the show this evening. Quite a dramatic day you've had today, but I want to find out, how was that the first thing that was going to be on your agenda today? An angry tweet that you shared this morning, which I was tagged in, which Diamond TV was tagged in. It was also a picture that Diamond TV shared that prompted you to share what you shared today. How did you start your day on such an angry note?
Thank you very much, Jonah. Thank you, Cheswa, for having me on the show. To begin with, let me start with an update. As of 17 hours today, the Lusaka City Council Department of Health did actually move in and clear the part of the drainage which you exposed on your Facebook page when you tweeted about the filth in the CBD. And I want to state here that I'm very, very proud of the Director of Health, Mr. Mtonga. I believe his team is doing a very, very great job under severe constraints. But let me also hasten to say that the issue of waste management is not an issue that we should take lightly, because what we are trying to do as civic leaders, as councillors, is to prevent the outbreak of disease. And you do know that garbage or waste, indiscriminate disposal of waste is the greatest threat to safety and health in these public stations vis-a-vis markets and bus stations in the CBD in general. And what we do have, or what I've been trying to do for the past 5 months since we were in power, is to use what is the established channel of communication. You must understand that councillors, their role, our role as councillors, is policy formulation. We are not the implementers of policy. When we go into the council chambers, our role is to formulate policy, to pass bylaws, and give instructions to management, Lusaka City Council management, to execute our policy. It is not our duty to go on the ground and check, has garbage been collected, has this or that been done. That is the role of management of Lusaka City Council. So in a way, I've heard people are saying, but you are a councillor, you're part of the council, how do you do such a thing? My job ends with formulation of policy and giving instructions to government, to the council, I mean. So if the management does not play its role, if you write persistent letters, and I have copies of letters that I've written time and time again through the town clerk to say, can we come up with a lasting solution to this problem of waste management? But that wasn't adhered to. So today I was left with no choice but to send a very strong message, an unmistakable message to the Lusaka City Council management to remind them that they have a duty to the people of Lusaka, to the citizens of Lusaka, to ensure to say that the issue of the issue of waste management is looked at. Because as far as the people are concerned, as far as the people that elected us are concerned, when they see filth on the street, in the CBD, it points to the council. But unfortunately, the finger does not only end with management at the council, but it also points to the people that we call performance contractors or franchise contractors. These are people that are hired or contracted by Lusaka City Council to collect waste in the city, as well as clean up drainages and sweep the streets and pavements. Unfortunately, these franchise contractors have been non-performing, and I'm one of the first councillors to call for the termination of those contracts in the interest of public health and cleanliness.
What stood out to some people in your tweet was how you were concerned about your reputation. And some of them felt that it wasn't really about your reputation, but about the community. Would you like to elaborate what you meant when you were talking about your reputation? Because, I mean, your reputation has been cleared today by the garbage being taken out, but I'm wondering what the sustainability of that is. And if really your concern was largely just, what people think about you, as opposed to how this garbage problem is going to systematically and permanently going to be dealt with.
Thank you very much, Jonah. You must understand, first and foremost, that it's not really about my reputation as councillor, because as councillor, I'm a candidate of a particular party, which happens to be UPND. So what I'm trying to do is to protect the reputation and integrity of the New Dawn government, because you must remember to say that we are coming from a very, very chaotic election. We are coming from a chaotic past where waste in the city was part of the city. So what the voters are looking at, what the residents of Lusaka are looking at, is this new UPND Dawn administration. What can they do different in terms of service delivery? And if really we are going to talk about change, we must talk about change starting from service delivery in the communities where we stay, in the CBD areas where we trade from. And for me, change is very much a concern as far as managing waste is concerned, because we cannot continue to have a city that is filthy, yet we are talking about keep Lusaka green, clean and healthy, yet in our practice, we are not cleaning up the city. And I want to reiterate that there are various stakeholders in the issue of keeping our spaces and clean. It's not just about the council itself. It's not about just councillors. It's also about the stakeholders such as traders. We are trying to implement or change a mindset culture where we have to also include the traders and people who use these public spaces to also be responsible in the way they dispose of waste. But we are also cognizant that some of the bylaws which we have as a council are not being adhered to. For example, it is a bylaw that every trading shop must have a waste disposal bin by its entrance. Advisably, you should not walk, Jonah, in the street of Cairo for 50 meters for you to find a disposal bin. You must have a disposal bin every 10 or 20 meters, so that if you are taking your super shake or whatever beverage you are taking or whatever snack you are having, you don't have to dump stuff in your car in the bus or throw it out the window. But there should be designated points. And we also have a law against dumping in undesignated places. We are trying to ensure to say that in the city we have designated places for dumping. But unfortunately for Kamwala, again, the dumping place, which has been traditionally there for the past 10 years, happens to be just outside the Zambia outlet, next to Independence Road, opposite Tazara House. And that is a place where we can't afford to have a shala located. And we are making all efforts to move it away. And I wrote a letter again, copied to the town clerk, to say, can we remove that shala which is outside Zambia, because it's a hazard to the health of people of Kamwala and the CBD in general.
I want to bring to your attention the sustainability of dealing with the garbage problem. And I'll take you back to your tweet and I'll read it. It says, so my reputation as UPND Kamwala Ward Councillor is suffering because of directors at LCC who don't act on my letters of instruction from as far back as last year. So today I'm loading a sack full of this stuff and dumping it at their offices. One of the comments, this one is coming from Milika, who says, instead of being concerned about your reputation and writing letters, why not take action and involve the community to clean up the garbage? With time, the council will come around. And then Bob had a comment and he said, dumping the stuff at the offices may be unnecessary. Get the WDC and community involved in weekly cleaning exercises. Invite media houses to witness and air out your concerns on the council's inaction. This will motivate the community to stop littering and shame the council into action. And I think these comments I read out because of the next question I was going to ask, which is, one of the easiest ways of dealing with crime is for people to stop committing crimes. So one of the easiest ways of dealing with littering, with garbage, is for people to stop littering. And I know that there's people mandated to, collect garbage, but it's also a collective responsibility from the community that you lead. What is the willingness from the people within your community and the strategy being employed to ensure that they come on board in dealing with garbage from individual level, which should culminate into a systematic eradication of this problem?
Thank you very much for that question. Indeed, we have to recognize, to say that there must be a long-lasting and sustainable way of managing waste. And I want to say that when we talk about waste, we are talking about service delivery. You are talking about involving people so that they can contribute in terms of not littering the streets or surroundings where they live. But listen, Jonah, you see, waste management costs money. There is money that is needed to have people collect this waste. There is money that should be paid in terms of transporting it and dumping it. There are all those logistical issues which cost money. And what we are saying is that these people that you are talking about who should participate in not littering the environment are already paying money. For example, in Kamwala Lubama Market, almost all the major shops subscribe, a high fee for that matter, to have this waste collected. But to their great disappointment, what they find is that they are paying high fees for waste disposal, but yet you don't have the people that are hired. I'm talking about the franchise contractors, the so-called franchise contractors, who are hired by the council on maybe 2-3 years terms to collect rubbish. They are not performing. They don't collect this rubbish. You find that a week will go, almost 2 weeks, then they come once. So the question that these people that are paying for a service that they are not getting is, why are we paying for a service which we are not getting? Even marketeers, for your information, during the last full council, we did pass a resolution to say that everyone and anyone who generates waste must make a contribution. And to that effect, even the ordinary marketeers who do not own what you'd call standard or formal shops in the trading area will also be contributing something. And what we want is to ensure to say that there should be value for money. If these people are going to contribute and they are willing to contribute, they are willing to play their role in terms of ensuring to say that they keep their surroundings clean. But the issue is that the current people engaged in waste management collection are inefficient. They are ripping these people off And we have had numerous complaints amongst the cross-cutting sections of marketeers to say, why are we paying the council when the council does not collect this rubbish? And these are questions which management must answer. The councillors are not in the day-to-day running of the council.
One of the other...
of the board of directors, so we only give instructions. So what we are, just before you come in, Cheswa, what we are trying to do and what we are doing, and we are moving in that direction, is to decentralize the waste management process. What are we saying? We are saying that particular locations such as markets and bus stations and communities must be responsible for their management of their own waste. We do not want to hire companies that are far removed from those communities. They don't know anything about those communities, collecting money yet not delivering a service. So we want to engage community-based enterprises, locally based, so that markets, bus stations, those places, the people in those places can be directly responsible for ensuring to say that waste is paid for and collected.
But one of the solutions that you just mentioned now is to engage community-based enterprise. But I'm just wondering what would be the long-term solutions would be for your fellow other councillors. Is it equally them going to dump this waste at the Lusaka City Council for them to act? I mean, what kind of policy direction also are you going to be proposing in the chambers as you sit for your council meetings? Have you begun already to think about that? Do you think that this is one of the fastest solutions that you could be thinking about, dumping waste at the Lusaka City Council offices?
Thank you, Cheswa. Yeah, dumping waste at the Lusaka City Council is not necessarily a policy, and it's not necessarily the best move. But look, if you have written several letters, you've done your part in terms of following the laid down procedures and channels of communication, and you're not getting feedback. And it's not just about waste management. There's a whole lot of things that are happening in Lusaka. We're talking about illegal construction of makeshift stores, putting up of containers, of booths. All these indiscriminate kind of things are happening in the council. But if you report these things and they're not being acted upon, then you know that you have a problem within the system. The same system in which we are as councillors. So we are in a system, we have entered a system which we found operating in a certain way, and we are trying our level best to change that culture. Of course, the issue of getting garbage and dumping it at the Lusaka City Council is not even something that you would call policy, or even a move that I would encourage myself. But sometimes you do not have any option but to use radical means to put across a message that anyone and everyone is going to understand.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show tonight. I guess your radical approach has worked, but I guess it has worked only for now. And the big question is how sustainable it's going to be. But we appreciate you joining us on Diamond Live tonight.
Thank you very much, Cheswa and Jonah. Thank you.
Minda Sumata joining us. He's the Kamwala Ward councillor who dumped garbage today at the LCC offices, who we are now being told have cleared the way. And are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Did it have to take the Lusaka City Council to go and...
Should all the councillors go and dump garbage there?
I think it's important that you ask about the most sustainable way that, the LCC...
Yeah, well, this seems quick. Okay.
Yeah.
Sustainable, but this seemed quite quick. I'm wondering what the other councillors are thinking. Might just be a lot of garbage at LCC headquarters tomorrow. I don't know. I'm just saying. But we're going to take a break. We'll come back with Diamond Live after these short messages. Stay with us.